U.S. Air Force heavy bombers have landed in Indonesia. Amid escalating tensions with China in the Western Pacific and efforts by Washington to strengthen alliances, two B-52 Stratofortress bombers from the United States Air Force, USAF, recently arrived in the archipelago. The mission was carried out by the Air Force Global Strike Command, AFGSC, and Pacific Air Forces, PAF. Originally from the 23rd Bomb Squadron at Minot Air Force Base, AFB, in North Dakota, the B-52s departed from Guam's Andersen Air Force Base. These two B-52s are part of a group of 4 bombers that arrived in Guam after departing from Minot AFB on June 12th and June 14th. Their deployment is part of a Bomber Task Force (BTF) rotation in the Indo-Pacific. BTF rotations involve the deployment of USAF bombers worldwide and typically last a little over a month. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why B-52 in Indonesia is a nightmare for China. Let's get into the details. Although B-52s have previously conducted exercises with Jakarta's military in Indonesian airspace back in September 2021, they had not previously landed at an airbase in the country. It was also the first time B-52s participated in joint exercises with the Indonesian Air Force. Prior to landing, the B-52s were welcomed by 2 Indonesian F-16 from Rosman Nurjadin Air Force Base, AFB, in Pekanbaru, as depicted in the photos. Viewers may note that Indonesia has around 30 American-made F-16 fighter jets. During the early 1980s, Indonesia began exploring different alternatives to replace a portion of its existing OV-10F Bronco aircraft fleet. The need for these aircraft was particularly vital in safeguarding Indonesia's significant gas interests in the South China Sea. Ultimately, in 1986, the Indonesian Air Force made the decision to acquire the F-16 Fighting Falcon as the chosen replacement aircraft. The Pacific Air Forces, or PACAF spokesperson, said the bomber deployment is part of a larger effort to deter, deny, and dominate aggression and promote a free and open Indo-Pacific. The PACAF spokesperson stated, "This training enables our airmen to become familiar with other theaters and airspace, and enhances the enduring skills and relationships necessary to confront a broad range of global challenges in support of the national defense strategy." According to a PACAF statement, integrating strategic bombers such as the B-52 in operations and exercises enables different types of strategic bombers to operate forward in the Indo-Pacific region from a broad array of overseas and continental U.S. locations with greater operational resilience. Bomber missions contribute to joint force lethality and deter aggression in the Indo-Pacific by demonstrating USAF ability to operate anywhere in the world at any time in support of the national defense strategy. The maneuvers were described as bilateral tactical training drills that undertook tactical fighter capabilities, evaluate proficiency, identify future training, and enhance capabilities integral to a variety of bilateral missions, according to a statement from the U.S. Embassy in Indonesia. Photos showed both the Air Force's F-16s carrying inert as well as live advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles, AMRAAMs, and Sidewinder missiles, indicating basic fighter maneuvers, BFM, like dogfighting, air interdiction, and air superiority will have taken place. The Boeing B-52 Stratofortress is a long-range, subsonic, jet-powered strategic bomber in service with the United States Air Force. The B-52 was designed and built by Boeing, which has continued to provide support and upgrades. It's been operated by the United States Air Force since the 1950s, and with upgrades is supposed to serve into the 2040s. It has a typical combat range of more than 8,800 miles, or 14,080 kilometers, without aerial refueling. The massive range enables B-52 to take on strategic bombing missions. The powerful engines also enable B-52 to carry up to 70,000 pounds, or 32,000 kilograms of weapons. While B-52 seems like a vulnerable platform because of its large radar cross-section and low speed, it has long-range weapons like AGM-158 JASSM that can be launched from standoff distances without getting inside the engagement envelope of enemy air defenses. The bomber may also get hypersonic missiles in the future. It's important to note that U.S. Air Force is working to extend B-52's life with several key upgrades, including engines. The U.S. Air Force has recently chosen Rolls-Royce's North American division to supply F-130 turbofans to re-engine its fleet of B-52H bombers. 608 engines will be acquired, and this is enough for one-for-one replacement of the 8 Pratt & Whitney engines found on each of the 76 B-52H bombers. The South China Sea, SCS, is one of the major areas of contention in the Western Pacific, with multiple countries, including Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Brunei, having disputed maritime claims alongside China. Indonesia specifically has an exclusive economic zone encompassing the Natuna Islands, which partially overlaps with a region in the South China Sea claimed by Beijing. In this context, the presence of B-52 bombers skirting the borders of a rival nation serves both as a strategic signal and offers operational advantages. The deployment of B-52 bombers carries deterrence value as their potential use of powerful nuclear and conventional payloads dissuade rivals from pursuing ambitious military objectives. This can either prevent military action altogether or force the adversary to factor in the impact of B-52 operations, thereby slowing down the tempo of their attack. In operational scenarios, B-52 bombers can engage enemy ground and naval targets with long-range missiles, complementing other friendly assets involved in anti-shipping and land attack missions. Given its multi-mission capabilities, China will never like the bomber to be in its backyard.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.